Hi, I'm Emma from the Cosmosphere, and today I'm going to be interviewing astronaut John Herrington. He was the first Native American astronaut, and he flew on STS-113 in 2002. We are so privileged to be able to speak with him.
Hi, my name is John Herrington. I was a mission specialist on STS-113, flew on the Space Shuttle Endeavour to the International Space Station, and helped assemble a truss on the outside of the space station.
You took part in 3 spacewalks in support of ISS construction, but you've worn the EMU hundreds of hours in training in a giant pool. Can you describe the difference between working in water versus in a vacuum?
The thing about the water is water has viscosity. I mean, it's something. It's you're moving against it. So in the pool, you're moving against the water, so it's hard to start and it's easy to stop. The water actually slows you down. In space, obviously there's no water. There's no atmosphere, and so it's very easy to start and it's very hard to stop. And so you have to practice going slow. We say, slower is faster in space. And the slower you go, you stay in control, and you learn how to move in this environment. And you don't have a diver next to you. You don't have somebody with a camera, looking right at you. So you're out by yourself. It's a different feeling. It takes a bit to get used to, but within a few minutes, you figure it out.
With all those hours spent inside the suit, does it take a physical toll on the body?
In the pool, it does. In the pool, you're neutrally buoyant. It means you're floating. You're not climbing in the water column. You're not descending, but you're floating. But you're in one attitude. And so if you have to move out of that attitude, there's air in your suit and it moves around, and it's hard. It's really hard to move the suit, and you get really, really tired. In space, there's no upside down. So whatever attitude you want to get in is a right side up attitude, because your mind tells you what's right side up, not gravity. Gravity's pulling you back to the Earth, but you're going around it so fast, Earth falls away. So there's no sensation which way is really down. Down is what you see. It's not what you feel.
Every minute of an EVA is scheduled. Do you ever find time to just look back at Earth and just soak in the view?
Yeah, Jerry Ross told me, because I used to work with Jerry when I was a Cape Crusader at the Kennedy Space Center. Jerry said, at some point in your spacewalk, stop, smell the roses, take a look, sear an image into your mind, and don't take a picture of it, because that will be much more vivid in your mind than any picture will ever be. So I did that at the very end of the space station. Got a chance to go outside and hang out and watch the world go by.
Most astronauts have particular things they like to look at out of the window for, whether it be the Caribbean, mountains, or city lights. Was there any particular thing that you found more interesting to look at from above?
Yeah, I remember we had a cycloergometer on the space shuttle, which is a little bicycle, little pedals that you get on. You can get your cardiovascular exercise. So I hopped on it in Sydney, Australia, and I pedaled across the Pacific on it. And I got out over Los Angeles, and I floated to the window, grabbed a camera, and I was taking pictures over Colorado, where I grew up. So in that, we spent about 20 minutes, crossing the Pacific on a bicycle to the point of floating to the window and taking pictures of where I've been as a kid and where I used to go jeeping with friends of mine or rock climbing. So that was a fun experience to see where I grew up from space.
As a rock climber, you've always had to maintain a hold on the rock face or you will quickly fall. Can you describe the sensation of your first spacewalk and how weird it felt despite all the training you had for it?
One of the first things I did was called this spaceflight or spacewalking adaptation. And the idea is to get used to being, out and doing EVA when you're not in the pool. And so to me, as I had to go around the airlock, climb the top of the Z1 truss, and grab a tool off of a toolbox. And this toolbox, to me, was a little overhang, little kind of a cliff. And when I got up and I grabbed the box, I was like leaning back and I grabbed the box and I felt like I was climbing a cliff, but I wasn't going anywhere. I could let go and not fall back to the earth. So, but no one told me that toolbox was loose. And so when I grabbed that toolbox, the whole thing kind of shakes, because we just come out of a night pass. We'd come out of a night pass and all the metal had shrunk because it gets really cold, about minus 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So the metal in the feet were kind of cold. So it was loose in its footings. And I felt like I was going to come off and I was going to float away into the vastness of space. That was kind of scary.
What protections does the suit offer against micrometeorites?
It depends on the size of micrometeorite. You can something that tiny, going at 17,000 miles an hour is going to go right through the suit. There's, I think, about 7 different layers in the suit, for thermal protection, for micrometeorite protection. But you could shoot it's like shooting a BB through it. The BB is going fast enough; it's going to go right through the suit. It's going to go right through your skin, maybe right through and out the other side. So you just don't think about it. Bad stuff can happen. You just don't. You put that out of your mind.
So why was gold chosen for the visor of your helmet?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think more for maybe for UV exposure. I know on some Navy aircraft there was one EA-6B had gold visors. The entire canopy was a gold plated visor. So for us, I think that's it. I can't go into specifics of it physics wise, but I believe it was for UV protection in the direct sunlight.
As NASA is looking to update the EVA suit, what are improvements you would like to see in the design?
Wow. The challenge with the suit is the way the bearings in the suit are made so that you can be able to be mobile, move around, and still maintain pressure in the suit. So there's certain movements you cannot do. There's certain movements you do in the suit that are yet they're coordinated. So you can't just like raise your arm and go like this. You have to think about you move your arm like this and move your arm like this. You can't just reach around because the bearings in the suit don't allow that. Getting into the suit's very difficult. You actually have almost dislocate your shoulders trying to get into it. That's one of the challenges. A lot of us have shoulder issues because of all the work we did in the suit. It's very, very stressful on our shoulders.
So on STS-113, you participated in 3 spacewalks in support of the ISS construction. Can you describe the work involved in those EVAs?
How much time do you have? Primarily, our job was to make connections. The truss was installed robotically with a robotic arm, put the truss in place. The bolts were driven robotically. My job, as well as Mike's job, was to go out and make connections between the S0 truss and the P1 truss, electrical connections, fluid connections. We had to remove launch locks so that the vehicle could actually, or that truss could actually operate in space. Because on the shuttle going uphill is a lot of vibration, so they bolt stuff down so it doesn't come apart. So our job was to remove that. I used tools to do that. I had a ratchet, I had a power tool, a pistol grip tool that had certain settings for different tasks, and they would tell you what setting it had to be for that particular task. When I interviewed to be an astronaut, I said I want to turn a wrench in space. I did. I got a video of me turning a wrench in space.